I'm Siobhan and I've got you on top of my fridge. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Fridge Talks. This is episode 7 now. Let's get straight into the video. So recently I've been in this really strange place. It's almost like a season of quietness where I felt almost lonely, ill, and I haven't really been sure how to process that feeling. I guess coming out of a long-term relationship and then also over the past year shifts in friendship, and so I've had a lot of changes in terms of who I'm forming connections with, and it hasn't been easy. I'm someone that enjoys my own company. Normally that's a choice that I'm choosing to make, enjoying my own company. This time it kind of feels like it's something that's happened to me without my say so I'm kind of just here in the season now. But saying that, since being in the season for a little while now, I'm trying to change how I'm perceiving the season, and I'm trying to see it as an opportunity rather than something that's happened to me. And I realized that I've been provided with an opportunity that I've never allowed myself to have before, and that's space. Upon reflection, I'm trying to see my friend space as an empty room. I know it sounds crazy, but stay with me. Imagine your friendship space as a room. And if you're in a season like I have been, then imagine that everything has sort of been cleared out of that space, providing you with an opportunity to do 3 things.
Number 1, you can either cry about it, look around at your space and complain about how there's nothing there and how empty it is and how bare it is, and feel really sorry for yourself that you're just in this big overwhelming space all by yourself.
Number 2, you can fill that space with bits and bobs that don't serve you, that don't reflect who you are as a person, but just have them there just to fill up the space. Or number 3, you can start afresh, and you can put yourself in environments that genuinely make you feel refreshed and form intentional connections with people that are in those circles. Basically, I've been reflecting on who I've been allowing to fill my space. In the past, I've sort of allowed myself to accept whatever comes into my life and whatever comes my way, especially in terms of friendships, relationships, making connections, etc., etc. I've not really thought about whether these connections have actually made me happy, whether they've been mutual, whether they've enriched my life in some way. I would allow these people to come into my space with full force and sort of like take over my space. I would end up looking at them sideways because they're doing something that I've allowed them to do. And that was on me. I'd then become resentful towards myself for allowing that to happen. But now that I'm in this new season, I'm slowly starting to see it as an opportunity to start creating a space that I genuinely love to be in. An environment that enriches me, an environment that makes me feel happy. Treating my space with some respect. You can't just let anyone run up in your space and treat it anyhow. This is your time to decide what and who you actually want in your life. What connections bring you joy? What connections align with your values? What makes you feel fulfilled? Just as you'd go about trying to thoughtfully make sure that your home feels like a home by curating items in your home that make you smile and bring you joy and make you happy, take the time to find people and experiences that actually enrich your life. This last year for me has been tough. I'm not someone who's particularly like the most extroverted. I can be socially awkward, and I often don't find it easy to actually make friends. I've never necessarily been like the popular one or had a massive friendship group. And I'm also not someone that necessarily finds it easy to let go of relationships once I've made connections with people. And the crazy thing about that is I've had to do it loads this year. But do you know what was even more uncomfortable? Allowing people that made me feel uncomfortable to become my home. And the craziest thing about that was when I decided that I was finally in a place that I felt like I could let these people go, I had to mourn them and process the loss of them out of my life, if that makes sense. I eventually became quite frustrated with myself that I wasn't making new friends, that I wasn't making new connections. And I think the main reason for that was because I was going about trying to make new connections the same way that I had always tried to make new friends and connections and relationships. And that was operating from a place of void, operating from a place of neediness. I was open to being friends with everybody and anybody that wanted to be friends with me because I really wanted to have friends. I didn't want to be alone. And that is a recipe for disaster. And I find that who I am now as a person no longer aligns with that approach to trying to build connections. Also, it no longer aligns to the type of people that I was attracting before. In the past, I would just kind of accept any sort of relationships, friendships, just so that I didn't feel like I had to be alone. I actually never allowed myself to be intentional with many of the friendships that I had with forming connections with people. I often operated from a place of people pleasing and trying to fill that void, which again is a recipe for disaster. I see that now. So I've been trying to be more intentional about choosing friendships and relationships. I'm trying to see this time in my life as less of a big void that needs to be filled and less of a big old space that I need to just put anything in. And I'm trying to view it as a beautiful opportunity to have a new, fresh canvas that I get to fill with meaningful connections that make me happy and that reflect who I am as a person now in the season. So I would like to share with you 4 mindset shifts that I've been trying to adopt that are helping me in the season of quietness. Number 1, embrace the opportunity for self-reflection and growth. Most people are so caught up with life, with work, with relationships, with friendships, that they don't have the chance to recalibrate and to refresh their ways of thinking. If you're in a similar season to me, then you have the opportunity to do that. An opportunity that most people don't get the chance to take. This is your time to create a baseline for yourself. Decide on what you like, decide on what you don't like, decide on what brings you joy, decide on what doesn't bring you joy, decide on the friendships that are making you happy, decide on the friendships that are not making you happy, decide on the kind of friends that you would like in your life that would enrich you to help build you up and make you a better person, and decide on the type of friendships that are an absolute no-no. Also, reflect on past relationships that you've had that didn't align with who you are as a person because you never had a baseline. Number 2, be intentional about the circles that you're entering. Put yourself in circles that you actually want to be in. Not because you're looking for friendships, not because you're looking for love, not because you don't want to be alone, but because you love what that circle is all about, what it represents, what value it brings to the world. Go back to basics. What are your hobbies? What are you passionate about? What brings you joy? What makes you smile? Is it painting? Is it dancing? Is it singing? Is it doing sports? Is it creating things with your hands? Find communities who are also passionate about the things that you are. Put yourself out there. When you're doing things that you love, you'll find people that genuinely respect the things that you're doing and that are also passionate about the things that you love doing as well. And then you can do them together. Number 3, was that 3? Yes, it was. Number 3, try not to build relationships out of loneliness. Found that in the past, I often accepted nonsense because I was operating from a place of loneliness and I just wanted to fill a void. But that's not a good enough reason for you to call someone a friend. That's not a good enough reason for you to allow yourself to be around negative energy on a regular basis. That's not a good enough reason to have them all up in your space. Real friendships shouldn't be about trying to fill a void or being around them just because you're lonely or because you just want someone to go out with. Real friendships should be about creating meaningful connections, about mutuality. Is that a word? I need to look that up. But yeah, it's about trying to create deep connections with people. Ask yourself, can I be vulnerable with that person? Are we actually learning from each other? Are we building each other up? Are we making each other laugh? Are we making each other smile? Are we supporting each other? And lastly, number 4, evaluate your role in these relationships. I'm learning to look at myself and reflect on the type of friend that I've been in the past. What makes me tick? What triggers me? These are all important questions to ask yourself. Also, what part did I have to play in the breakdown of any relationships that no longer exist in my life? And learning from it. Have I been someone that people want to hang out with? I'm trying to take the time to audit my own behavior and recognize where I haven't necessarily been the best person to be around and trying to learn from it. Just like you would in a romantic relationship, friendships need work too. So to conclude, this is a season of quietness, yes, but it's also a season for growth, for reflection, for grace, without any distractions. Join a circle that inspires you. Prioritize real and meaningful connections. And take an active role in trying to be a better friend. Be intentional. So I think that's everything that I had to say on this topic. I mean, loneliness isn't fun. It can sometimes feel really sucky, but I'm trying to see the glass as half full rather than seeing it as half empty. I was gonna say half not full, half empty. I'm trying to see it as an opportunity for growth and to put myself back in circles that I love to be around and actually do it because I love to be in those circles as opposed to, oh my gosh, I need to find a friend, I need to find friends, you know? Friends will come, but true happiness and making yourself feel happy first and foremost is the most important. And then you'll find people that also love doing what you do. Do it together. I hope everyone has an amazing week and get all the things done that you need to get done. And if you don't, it's okay. Just write a list and do it again tomorrow. Keep on trying. I'll see you on the flip side. Peace.